I'm recording this part in the car because inside of Lowe's it was just a little too loud, but I did get some of my parts that I'm going to be using for the lightsaber build. We've got some PVC pipe and then some thicker piping, and then I also got a few adapter pieces that will be used for the pommel and the emitter. So we've got some of these pieces here. They all screw together. You can see some of the screws, but I will, like the screw bits, but I will hide that when I do the actual lightsaber. And then we have an end cap and some more pieces for the either emitter or the pommel. I do not know yet, but definitely excited to make the lightsaber using these pieces. So I'll get back to my house and then I'll start working on the plans. So I'll see you then. I have made it back from Lowe's and I am now back in the workshop area. So again, I got some big pieces of PVC pipe. These are some thicker pieces. The thinner PVC pipe will easily be able to just slide in. So I have a cool idea with that. And then the little pieces here are just some adapters and an end cap, if I can get it out. I don't know, I can't get it out right now, but an end cap. So we can just like unscrew it and stuff real easily. Now these will stay screwed together. I don't know if I will glue them or not, because at some point I would like to be able to add like NeoPixel lightsaber internals and stuff into this to make it an actual working NeoSaber lightsaber. And then I have these weird adapter pieces here that I found that will be used for the emitter part. So definitely excited to see how this turns out. The first steps that we're going to do though is we are going to be designing it. I'm going to draw it out on a piece of paper about full scale to see kind of what I want to do with it and how it will turn out. And there's probably going to be a few different iterations of it and changes, but that is okay because I want this to be the best lightsaber that I can make, especially for it being my first one and it being a home built one. So let's get right into that. I will show you the planning steps and how I'm sketching it out, and then we'll get right into cutting down and measuring the PVC pipes. That way we can get the sizing correct. Let's get right into the designing and planning stages. So as of right now, this is kind of what we have sketched out. It's not wide enough, of course, but I just wanted to try and get a visual of it. Definitely like it so far. I feel like there's a little too much empty space, but I think I may be able to work around that and create a little bit more to it so it's not so empty. I've got some ideas for that. The emitter part here may change. It's very much so like Cal Kestis' lightsaber, which I definitely love those games and his lightsaber, so that's why I took inspiration from that. But I definitely think I may change it up just a little bit, maybe shorten it or only do one side. So we've got this all designed. Definitely have to figure out colors and also more spots in the middle. I may do like a leather wrap or something like that, or make it look like textured, so that way it adds a little bit more visuals without being too much and still being a very simple lightsaber. Now this lightsaber is going to be a Sith lightsaber for my custom Sith that I'm creating. So I'm definitely excited to be doing this project and being able to create something for another project as well with this one. So now we will get to measuring it out, and then we will cut out the PVC pipes and kind of put them together roughly and see how they look. primer is laid, I do plan on wet sanding just to get a little bit of a smoother surface on these. So if there's a little bit of drips and runs and whatnot, then that's fine. This is just the first layer of primer. I may go out and buy another color primer just so it's a little bit easier for me to see what I have put primer on and what does not have it, because white primer on white PVC is really hard to see. So I may go buy some gray filler primer or something like very similar, different colored at least, instead of white. White's definitely nice to have, but I definitely want to start using some other colors for the primer. So there's a few spots that I missed, so let me spray those real quick, and then we'll let these sit and dry for, I don't know, 2-3 hours, and then I'll be back out here again to work on the rest of it, do the wet sanding, and then the second layer of primer before letting it dry again. So let me spray a few of these that I missed a little bit on, and then we'll be ready to just let it sit and dry and work on other projects and get some videos edited. So let's do that right now. Okay, now that all of the PVC pipes have been spray painted and they are dry now, we're going to do just a light wet sanding on them just to smooth out some of the higher bits. Yes, I'm wearing a different shirt. I got dirty from all the PVC pipes, so I decided to change because it was bothering me. So we'll just do some wet sanding. Again, basic. It's just wet dry sandpaper and a little bucket of water, and then you just sand the same you would with normal sandpaper. So let me grab a rag somewhere, and then we will get right into wet sanding all of the parts. Some parts don't need it as much as others, but I just want to make sure they're nice and smooth before we do any of the actual like weathering and stuff that you want to do to this to make it look a little bit less like plastic, but not so, I don't know, bumpy and have a bunch of cuts and stuff in them. So let's get right into that. Lightsaber is now all painted. Some spots didn't get hit the best, but that's fine because there's going to be weathering and different details in it. I decided to do a metallic here for like the handle part, and then also up here in this spot here, and then the rest are like a more dull gray, which is fine. I add a little bit of detailing paint as I work on this. Definitely need to do a little fixing. This does not want to sit right for some reason, but we'll get to that. Definitely like how this paint job turned out right now as a base coat. So definitely excited for this build. Definitely a good size. So now we're going to work on doing some painting, smaller details and little things like weathering on this. I'm probably also going to take this foam and fill in some of the cracks that you can see here where the spots don't screw together the best, and then we'll paint those as well. So let's get right into that. This lightsaber is a Sith lightsaber, so I have a bunch of grays and some black paint that I will be using on the hilt. So let's get right into painting. So my phone keeps running out of storage space, which is really annoying while trying to film because it cuts my videos short. So for the rest of this video, I will be using this camera to record it. It's not as good as the phone, of course, but you can still see all of my workspace and everything. I'll have to figure out a mounting setup for this, but I'm tired of the phone storage running out constantly. So we'll be using this camera. I mean, most of the other videos before this and after will probably be using this camera or one very similar to this. So I'll may have to get a mic at some point, which is fine. But this is going to be what I'll be using. So let's get right back into painting. and finishing the rest of this lightsaber. It's so close, but my storage keeps running out and it's just getting annoying, so I'll be finishing it with this camera. Let me zoom in real quick. This is, of course, not what I want to do, but this will have to work for now. So we are doing this right now, working on painting this up, some little dark gray lines. So let's get right into that. Alright, let's get back into this lightsaber build. This is what I have so far. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Oh my gosh. There's been a decent amount of work done. Not a whole lot left to do, is what I meant to say. So, we'll get this finished up. The recording's done, edited, and this will be ready to post. But definitely love how it's turning out so far. It's not as metallic-y as I want it to be. I want it to look more like metal and less like plastic. So I'll be working on that. Like this here looks really good. I love how this turned out. Looks like metal. But the rest of this is just a little too dull for me. A little too plasticky. So that's what I'll be working on now, is trying to make this look less like plastic and more like a metal. And then I'm also going to do some weathering with this. So I'll prop up the camera and get right into working on the weathering of this. Okay, I have some different grays. I have this gray, ghost gray. It's a surface primer, but I definitely think this can look good. I've got this ocean gray, which I've used on some parts already, black, and then I've got this aluminum and this gunmetal gray that I'm going to use to mix in with these other colors to give it a little bit more metallic look to it. And then I've got some other paints over on my side that I may mix in as well, like maybe this one. So I'll just get right into that and mixing some of the paints together. I really don't think you guys need to see me mixing paints together, so I'll just skip past that and get right into the painting. So let's get right to that. today's the day, everyone. This is getting finished. Weathering is going to be happening on this. I was going to do a little bit of like a burn look on the top, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I kind of like how it's like this clean look to it. The metallic-y paint definitely looks a lot better now. It's a little hard to see on camera, but looks pretty good right now. So we're going to do some weathering to it, and then we'll be done with this. Definitely excited to be done with this. Now, I did lose the receipt, unfortunately. I will find the prices online of all of the parts, so that way you guys know. It was under $20. It was like $19.80 something with taxes and all that. So I'll find that information for you guys. So if you want to go recreate this, you can. You could honestly make 2 lightsabers for $40, which was our budget. So again, I'll have the prices on the screen at the end for this. Work time, I was working on this, I'd say this is probably hour 8 or 9 of this. Really haven't spent a whole lot of time on this. I mean, I have, but it's not like I had to do a bunch of cutting of like metal and stuff like that, and I wanted to keep it pretty basic. Now if we put into time from going to the store and getting a Dremel and stuff, that it'd be closer to 11, 12 hours, because I was out in the store looking for stuff and all other things. So definitely been fun little project to work on, fun challenge. I do want to do another challenge very soon. I talked about to Regal Rebel. You'll be seeing this on the 28th of June. The last month is when I talked to him about doing another one. So there may be another challenge coming in the near future. Not right after this video, of course. They give us a little bit of time to work on our own projects. This one you'll be seeing before this video, but this droid head right here, this is one that I worked on as well. So projects like that will be able to be worked on in between challenges. So enough of me rambling and yapping on and blah blah, all this other stuff. Let me get this camera set up down low so that way you guys can get a good view of this, and let's get to weathering. Weathering that I'm going to do is just basic brown wash. So I'm going to mix brown paint, maybe a little bit of black or something, and water, and then I'll brush it onto this, let it sit just for a little bit, and then I'll wipe it off with a rag or towel or whatever, and it will give it a nice weathered look. So let's get right into that. Alright, the lightsaber hilt is all done. Nice and rustic looking, just like I wanted. Like it got like lost in the woods or something for a while. May add a little button or something. I don't think I will though. There's going to be NeoPixel inside of this at some point in the future to make this an actual lightsaber. Thank you again to Cantina Rebels for challenging me to this challenge, the home built hilt challenge, and everyone else who participated. If you liked what you saw here and want to see more and possible challenges, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the like button. Go check me out on Instagram at Galactic Prop Works, and hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.